We have entered the final two match days of Season 24, and it is really heating up. We have several teams still in contention for the league title, as well as some intrigue at the lower end of the division, with teams still not quite safe from relegation. Hello everyone, I am Metafiction, and we have some very important matches for the overall title picture here today. Starting off, it'll be Leafyside Celtic versus Hollywood FC, who are looking to try and keep pace with the leading pack of Shanghai and União Sao Paulo in order to try and defend their league title. And of course, we do have Shanghai in action away to CD Tenochtitlan, still fighting to try and stay up for next season. Then in our final match, it's Sao Paulo versus Reykjavik United, another team trying to secure safety for Season 25 in Division 1. Started out, of course, in Ireland, where Celtic, having lost 3 in a row, have now won their last 2, certainly starting to pick it up. Meanwhile, Hollywood, it's a bit of a different story, starting to slide at a really pivotal time. You have to think, there you see, 3 points the deficit. One more slip-up could mean they're out of this title race. With one more match day to play, you cannot afford to drop points in a game like this, especially not with a deficit like this. If they want to have any chance of winning the title on the final match day, they have to do business here. And that's not going to help, as Hughes Galloway immediately down, and Skavgard getting the very quick booking there for Hollywood. I struggle to remember the last time a yellow card actually helped a team win a match, so Hollywood are going to have to be a little careful here. Not much to report in the early going, although here is a Celtic throw. Nosworthy forward to Pedrillo. Sprays it out to Takahashi, whose touch is a little heavy. Cormier out to Calderon. Cutting inside, then back out. Good run by Calderon, puts the cross in. Looking for Kupinis, and it looked like it was going to loop over Lax's head, but Lax able to hold on. Hollywood have had some really dangerous attacks there, as you can see in the bottom left. 4 shots, all of them on target, and 0.87 XG so far. But none of them have found their way in. Here's Calderon on the throw. Fantabins. Mograine heads in. Kupinis! And that's off the inside of the goal! And that deflects behind. How close was that for Kupinis? Well, here's Skavgard to send in the corner kick, and that's headed behind by Hefeweizen. Hollywood with a near miss there, so close to putting themselves up 1-0. As it stands, they walk away empty-handed so far. Fantabins with a good interception, and now here's Skavgard in pursuit by Hughes Galloway. Now an interception for Celtic. Miedema forward to Takahashi. Dribbling through the defense, finds Dybala. Dybala in space, and a good save by Walrusen. Well, it's a Celtic corner with only a couple minutes left in this half. Kika Ball sends it in, and that's headed off the bar and over. I think that was Tendi who was responsible for that. It was a great opportunity there for Celtic. Couldn't quite make it pay. And so, at the break, it is 0-0. Hollywood really needing to find that breakthrough soon. Only 45 minutes left to do it to potentially save their title challenge. They've had 8 shots on target, and Celtic have yet to record one, but neither side able to find that breakthrough. It's been mostly Hollywood in terms of momentum, but there we saw at the end of that half, Celtic starting to turn on We'll have to see if they can fire up a little bit more. They do still have relegation to fight over, so certainly need points from this as well. Helvarnsson taking their way onto the pitch in place of Takahashi. Celtic making that halftime sub. Marnson immediately losing out there. As things stand, Hollywood would only be gaining a point if Shanghai were to win their match in just a little bit. That would officially eliminate Hollywood from title contention with only one match day to play. Here's McGrain. Back to Hefeweizen, now trying again are Hollywood. Martel. Calderon forward to Fantabens. At the end line, cuts back, and Skovgaard forces the save out of Lax. A very good attacking move there by Hollywood, and they've got themselves a corner. And that's headed away by any one of a number of Celtic defenders. And now potential break on here for Leafy side. Hughes Galloway making the run and fouled. It looked very cynical, that foul by Calderon, and will get booked for it. A little surprised that wasn't a harsher penalty than a yellow, to be honest. But here's Ball with a corner kick for Celtic. That's a back. Pedrillo goes down in the box. The shot from Stain off the frame of the goal. And once again, a loud ping echoes through the ground as the ball off the woodwork. Now Martel, bringing it forward for Hollywood. Back to Calderon. The shot from Skovgaard and a sliding save from Lax. Lax has been on absolute fire today. So many chances for Hollywood on goal, but all of them kept out so far. Still 30 minutes to play. Anything can happen, but no matter what happens from here, you have to give Lax their flowers. It's been a solid performance today. Now the corner for Celtic, Ball, and the header fizzed in. I think that was Pedrillo. It's going to be a corner at the other side. Now near post, and that's downed and sent away. Well, time is really tight here for Hollywood. They've got a free kick here, but only about 15 minutes as that one just whizzes over the bar. That could have been a really good chance there. But they are really running out of time to save their title push. If they can't get a win here, if Shanghai can win their match later today, then that's going to basically be it for Hollywood for this season. They're already safe, but they will not be able to win the title if they can't score a goal in the next couple of minutes. Celtic, of course, happy to take the points as they get them, as that's headed in by Kupinis, but Lax again holding on. And you have to say, before we've even seen it, well, hold that thought. Caspian Skovgaard is being forced off with injury, and that might be the death knell for Hollywood's title hopes, as 2 minutes of added time have expired. The shot from Super Hoops, and Wallerson gets a hand down. Celtic standing over the corner, perhaps happy to see out this draw. You can't blame them. Finally sent in near post, headed away by Kupinis. Back out Varnson. Nosworthy forced back. And now Pedrillo with the free kick, headed away. Hughes Galloway takes a speculative effort from outside the box, and that is gonna do it. It is a 0-0 draw, the last thing Hollywood needed. Celtic, meanwhile, with a point that will be very valuable in their relegation fight. With Celtic playing Sao Paulo on Matchday 10. More on that in a bit. They're going to need every point they can get, and this was a very important one. Snorlax, of course, player of the match. You can't really argue with that. An inspired performance, it has to be said, between the sticks for Celtic. Hollywood with an absolute flotilla of chances, but couldn't score any of them. There's, of course, that one very near miss in the first half where the ball clanged off the inside of the post. You have to wonder what could have been if that had ricocheted in. But there you have it, Celtic Hollywood with a 0-0 draw. How rare are those in the SSL? As we move on to our second match of the day, where CD Tenochtitlan trying everything they can think of to try and find a way to stay up this season. Meanwhile, Shanghai could eliminate Hollywood from title contention here with a win. Tenochtitlan just 4 points from their last 5 matches. Desperately needs something to go their way. Meanwhile, Shanghai with a bit of a slide lately of their own. 1 point from their last 3. There you see. Shanghai 2 points up as it stands. A win today would put that to 5, which, as we all know, would not be surmountable in a single match day. Caetano bringing it forward, but immediately loses out, and Shanghai bring it forward. Patterson to Bloodflame. Bloodflame pings it in, and it looks like it took a reflection off of DeSoto there. Tenochtitlan corner, and it's Caetano to take. And that's headed over. Elliott. Sent near post. DeSoto heads it away again, worked around to Tut, and it's another deflection. Elliott tries again near post, and this time it's Bunsen who's able to head it away. Patterson near side, and a good challenge by Johnson there. Elliott sends that free kick directly into the wall. Caetano, near post, heads it in the air. Bit of a header battle, and it falls to Takechi. Boda wins the ball and passes it into the midfield. Timotheus through to Johnson. Johnson with the shot. And that's just about pushed behind by Kelvin Ball. Corner kick to Shanghai as Johnson fizzes it in, and it's headed away. Johnson trying again. Now here's Albinson. Cross in from Albinson, and that goes a little wayward, and De Silva able to head it to safety. Well, Tenochtitlan, believe it or not, have had the bulk of the chances in this match. But Shanghai coming forward again. That's headed down by Timotheus. Very well done by Ball to get over there. Now a Tenochtitlan corner. Near post. And that's just about tipped over by Takechi. That one had some real velocity on it. Good, strong wrists from Takechi. to keep that one out. As that corner comes in again, it's headed back out, and that's going to be a throw-in. De Silva loses out to Johnson. Ball worked forward to Albinson. Johnson to Johnson, and Tutt takes advantage of the loose touch. Ball sends it long, only finds Lind though. Good job by Albinson to head the ball off, but Voda losing out to Bloodflame there. Tutt, now to Silva, hits it behind for Roger. Roger with some danger, and Lind getting the foot in, but is penalized. Well, VAR will look at it, but this could be a huge penalty for the title race. Hollywood really hoping that this is indeed a penalty, but it's not. VAR overturns the decision. The challenge from Lind, clean, according to VAR. So no penalty given. Still, Hollywood fans will be heartened by this. It is 0-0 at the break. Tenochtitlan having significantly better chances, it would seem, compared to Shanghai. In terms of volume, not so much, but certainly in terms of quality. XG of 0.91 to 0.47, respectively. It's good news for Tenochtitlan fans, of course, as well, as they need all the help they can get to try and stay in the first division for next season. Remember, the team that finishes last is relegated to Division 2, no ifs, ands, or buts. Second to last at least gets the chance of staying up through the relegation playoff, with the second place team in Division 2. Speaking of Division 2, we'll have that a little bit later on. It's going to be a very exciting title race, I can promise you that. But for the moment, Tenochtitlan starting out the second half as they started the first, with some very strong chances. Less than 30 minutes to play, and this result will, I would imagine, be just fine for Tenochtitlan. Certainly they will feel the game is there to be won, but all things considered, a draw against the league leaders and current favorites for the title would be a huge result in their attempt at remaining in Division 1. Here is De Silva, though. Cross goes in, finding Patterson, and just gets the header wrong. Well, that was a chance on a silver platter for Tenochtitlan, but the finish just wasn't there. Del Vecchio winning the ball and trying to find a teammate, but it's headed forward to Barrera Strongine. Now here's Tutt. Shot blocked immediately. And now Shanghai with possession again. Elliott. Bloodflame tries to pass into Tutt, but loses out to Jimathias, and now Voda hits it forward. Owen Han takes possession, sending it all the way back to Johnson. Johnson passes around to Silva. Looked like was aiming for either Jimathias or Hohenhan, but had too much mustard on it. Ball scoops it up. Time really ticking down here for Shanghai. If they want to knock Hollywood out of the running, they're going to have to do it soon. As here's Del Vecchio at the end line, cuts it back. Albinson, and it's worked to Marcel Voda. And is that curtains for Hollywood's title chances? Let's look at the replay again. Here's Del Vecchio. Gets around Elliott just. Albinson lets it work on to Voda. And Voda from close range, you would not bet against them. A huge opportunity taken by Shanghai with very little time left on the clock. Less than 5 to play here in a moment, as Shanghai, with that one shot, overhauling Tenochtitlan's entire XG for the match. Voda simply couldn't miss and didn't. And that will come as a hammer blow to Tenochtitlan, who had done so well to not just keep Shanghai out, but come close to scoring at the other end. They've done very well today. Perhaps a little bit hard done by the scoreline as it stands, but take nothing away from their performance. Johnson takes the touch, trying to get around Tut. Tut, though, with a challenge to knock it free. Now Johnson works it back. Johnson able to get on the end of it. Johnson to Johnson again. Cross goes in, and that finds Thomas Gimatheus. The Dragons soaring. 2-0 to score now. Well, that cross in took a touch off of Gimatheus. It just deflected off Ball, who guessed wrong on the save, and it rolled up his shoulder and into the net. An unfortunate way to concede for both Ball and Tenochtitlan, but a solid 2-0 lead now for the Dragons. One that will see them 5 points clear of Hollywood. And there is the final whistle. Hollywood FC eliminated from title contention this season as Shanghai win 2-0 over Tenochtitlan. Rick Johnson, your player of the match for Shanghai. But again, a very creditable performance for Tenochtitlan, coming so close on a number of occasions to making this a very interesting match. Indeed, did keep it interesting for a long period, but ultimately just coming up short, running out of gas against Shanghai, who have been absolutely stellar all season. So there you have it. Shanghai, despite having a little bit of an early struggle, getting past their opponents, do win 2-0 over CD Tenochtitlan. And now we move on to our final match of the day, which will see União Sao Paulo against Reykjavik United. Of course, a very, very important match for both teams. Reykjavik, of course, in that relegation battle, really need a result in order to try and keep themselves off the bottom of the table, currently occupied, if I'm not mistaken, by Tenochtitlan. A win could see them go a long way to securing safety on the final match day. Now you see they've started to pick up some form of late, 3 wins of the last 5. But there you see at the other end, it's a very important match for Sao Paulo as well, as they need a win to also stay in the title race. If they draw or lose to Reykjavik, then Shanghai have officially won the Season 24 SSL Division 1 title. So a lot riding on this match here as we get underway. Sao Paulo have kicked us off, as here is Peixoto. Nelson. Work to Coswald, and de Groot loses out. And that's sent away by Chambers. Peixoto and Rashford intercepting that pass for Cotswold. Reykjavik know that Cotswold is going to have to be shut down if they want any chance of getting something out of this match. One of Sao Paulo's most dangerous players is that shot from Derbertov blocked, and Skavgar tries again, and that's deflected behind. Neymarinho back out to Tentacles. Neymarinho again in space, and Aguilera able to get down and save it. Aguilera, one of the best goalkeepers in the league, called into action for what can only be described as one of the very few times in this season. At least comparatively speaking, as Reykjavik ends up passing that back, but they do get another chance here. Tentacles, now Chambers. Urkel trying to hit the ball over the defensive line, but nothing doing. And now a potential break here for Sao Paulo. Mulder trying to get around Pruskin, but nothing doing. Shaheen, Neymarinho, now Rashford. Very quick break this from Reykjavik, trying to pass in low, and again off target. Tentacles. Shaheen, Quartista in with a chance, and that's another corner. Reykjavik coming out swinging here so far. Tentacles with the corner. Near post, it's headed back up and away. Tentacles tries to cross in. And again to Derbatov. Low cross, and that's going to be offside. Head to Aoi. And loses out to Rashford. Possible dangerous chance here for Reykjavik, as that's right at Aguilera. Another corner for Reykjavik. And that's headed away. Skavgard, Urkel sends it in. Tentacles to Neymarinho. Urkel takes the shot, and that's over the bar, and that will be a goal kick to USP. And another interception by Rashford. Through to Quartista, and this time, Trey Quartista makes it 1-0. Well, could that goal decide the title? Still plenty of time for Sao Paulo to get back on the board, but what a great finish that was from Quartista. Very little resistance, and Reykjavik with some very important moves to get up 1-0. Important to note, Sao Paulo hadn't even registered a single shot until after that goal. So perhaps a bit of a slow start for the title aspirants, the former league title winners, of course. Skavgard tries to get around the defense. Cross goes in. That's headed away by Slab Head. Ball forward, finding Rubio, the prolific scorer for Sao Paulo, into De Groot, who wins the corner. Cotswold will take this corner. I was already saying before, Cotswold, one of the most dangerous players in the SSL, as De Groot sends that ball over the bar. Long ball from Wall. Now here's Mulder. Cotswold. Oh. Now Cotswold finds DeGroot. And that pass back for Cotswold, intercepted by Neymarinho, but DeGroot back to it. Ball finds its way to Ashito Aoi. And Sao Paulo level it up at 1-1. Remember, a draw does them no good. They have to win to stay in touch with Shanghai, or else this title race is over. Free kick to Cotswold, and that's nearly top corner, but a great save from Wall. Mulder goes down in the box, and the referee gives the penalty. Well, this would be a huge moment in this title race. VAR checking the penalty, and it is given. And so it's Rubio to take. Rubio takes the shot, and it's past Wall to make it 2-1 to USP. And that is huge. That goal could potentially keep Sao Paulo in this title race, but the ball worked out to Cortista, and then Pruskin wins the corner. Panicles puts in the corner kick. Diving header from Cotswold. And that will come to nothing for Reykjavik United. Neymarinho with the shot, and that goes wide. Ball worked forward to Groot, into the box, and does win the corner there. Cotswold on the corner kick, finding De Groot. Rubio. Mulder back to De Groot, but sent clear by Shaheen. Shimoto. Now De Groot. Aoi takes a touch around Derbatov and shoots it right at brick wall. Aoi sending it over the top. Here's De Groot. Gets past Urkel and line, and that nearly deflected in. Pruskin able to clear it off the line, though. It could have been a huge problem for Reykjavik. They're not out of the woods yet, as here's a free kick from Cotswold, who finds Mulder. Now Kirkpatrick takes a shot, and just tipped over. As we near the end of 1 out of 2 added minutes, Cotswold with the corner kick for Sao Paulo, and that shot by De Groot wins another. Cotswold again to take, this time from the opposite side of the field. And that time, Cotswold ruled offside. And so at the break, Sao Paulo clinging on to a 2-1 win. It's been a strong performance from Reykjavik as they fight for survival. But Sao Paulo holding the advantage 2-1, and for the moment at least, remaining in this title race. Remember, if Sao Paulo cannot get all 3 points today, then Shanghai will be crowned champions, as they cannot be overtaken. However, if Sao Paulo can claim the win, then it goes to Matchday 10, where Shanghai would need only a point against their final Matchday opponent, which is, of course, Reykjavik United, who, again, need as many points as they can get to try and remain safe for next season. Second half underway, and that cross held by Wall. And that ball worked through, and that's another corner for Reykjavik. Good save by Aguilera, but Reykjavik starting to come back to life here. Tentacles. And that's headed away by Cotswold. Tentacles able to mop it up. And that shot by Nelson just goes wide, courtesy of the defender. Cotswold finding the group, back to Cotswold again. And Cotswold once again offside on the corner. Derbatov, and that shot held on to by Aguilera. Mulder to Hashimoto. Hashimoto crosses in, and that shot from Nelson very nearly making it past Wall, but instead it goes just wide of the post. Less than 30 to play. This would be a very important result for USP. Reykjavik not going away, though, as here's de Groot. Long ball over the top, finding Cotswold, who appears to be onside. Takes the shot, and Roke for Cotswold doubles the lead for Sao Paulo. Well, that is a very crucial goal at a very crucial moment, as Sao Paulo able to strike past Brickwall Jr. for Reykjavik United. And here's the replay. Cotswold, just a perfectly timed run. You cannot get it any closer than that. In what once was a very promising match for Reykjavik in their bid for survival has gone very wrong indeed. As they do have a corner here, but Derbatov trying to chip that in to a teammate, but Aguilera awake to it. Hashimoto loses out to Shaheen there, but loses out again to Hashimoto. Back to Mulder. Mulder crosses in, and de Groot trying to loop it over Wall, but that just goes a little too high, and so it's a goal kick. Shot from Nelson from the edge of the area, and that also goes wide. Less than 15 to play as Cotswold puts the cross in, headed clear though. Hashimoto gets around Shaheen, crosses in. Another looping header held by Wall. Well, it has been a very dominant match for Sao Paulo. Only up by 2 goals, but certainly could be a little bit more than that. Here's de Groot, and as soon as I say that, Nerve de Groot might have just made it 4. And indeed it will stand. So Sao Paulo up 4-1 after this strike. Rubio finding Peixoto, first time to Aoi, who works it on to De Groot. Timed the run exquisitely. Here it is again. Bottom left of your screen there, and I was wrong when I said you couldn't get it closer, because you really can't get it closer than that. That is about as close as it's possible to get on an offside call. Or I guess onside in this case. 3 minutes of added time. The Sao Paulo do have goal difference to think of here. Erskine sending it back to Wall. Rashford. Now Tentacles. Mourinho. Trying to get at least something back. Really both teams having to think of goal difference, considering the relegation battle Reykjavik find themselves in. And that is it. Sao Paulo with a 4-1 win over Reykjavik to keep themselves in this Division 1 title race. Ashito Aoi, with a goal and 2 assists, is your player of the match. An inspired effort by Sao Paulo. Goals also from Cotswold, De Groot, and Rubio. Reykjavik did strike first in this game. That goal from Trey Quartista, their only consolation as it stands. They have some serious work to do to try and keep themselves out of the relegation spots next time around. And so that will do it for Matchday 9. Just one more day of matches left for Division 1 to sort out the pecking order. And here is a look at today's results as well as the table. That scoreless draw between Leafyside Celtic and Hollywood, as it turned out, would knock out Hollywood from title contention, as Shanghai would win 2-0 over Tenochtitlan, who are still in last place. And then, of course, Sao Paulo with the 4-1 win move up into second place, 3 points behind Shanghai. And there you see at the table, Shanghai still well ahead, but Sao Paulo within 3 points, the only ones that can catch the Dragons as things stand. Meanwhile, at the other end of the table, you see Tenochtitlan on 7 points. The best they can hope for is the relegation playoff. Meanwhile, Reykjavik United could still pull themselves out of danger entirely. Reykjavik need a win and a Celtic draw or loss to avoid relegation entirely. As it stands, if they simply draw against Shanghai next time out, that would be enough to see them at least make the playoff and give themselves a chance. If Tenochtitlan win and Reykjavik lose, and Tenochtitlan can overturn that 3-goal deficit on goal difference, then instead Reykjavik would go down automatically, and Tenochtitlan would put themselves in the playoff. It's going to be an absolutely incredible final match day here in Season 24. We hope you'll join us for that. Until next time, this has been Metafiction. Take care.